think social is so key in China because Chinese players, they want to be the best in their friend. I think that's the key.
Recognition matters.
Recognition, social status. I think it's quite important for them. Because every now and then I will get their share to me like, I'm the number one in this ranking. Can you beat me? Okay, I will try. I think challenging is very important. Make it a little bit challenging because these people love difficult. They try to chase difficulty and also make sure once they done that, you make sure they have the play to show off, to share in the group, to share with their friends.
So, it makes a statement.
Yeah.
So this is not just Google Think apps in Vietnam. This is also my opportunity to connect with Lemon and Lemon Choi. I mean, first of all, if I'm just meeting you during this event, that's what it's all about, connection, right? I'm meeting you for the first time and I'm thinking, the master of mini games, that's what I'm gonna call you. But why am I thinking that? I mean, what happened that you have become really the go-to for so much information about this exciting market and more, claim to fame? How did it happen?
My honor to be here, because I think mini games is booming in China now, but not that much people know about it. So I decided to write about this and let the world know what's happening in the China ecosystem. I think it's quite amazing. I think the same thing will happen soon in the Western or in Southeast Asia too. Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a claim because when you look at the data, I mean, and maybe you just backtrack a little bit for my listeners over at Pocket Gamer, understanding this particular type of mobile gaming. I mean, it reinvents itself every year or so. I mean, look at hyper casual, right? But now we're talking mini games. That's what's born inside the super apps, the WeChat. Give me some numbers first so we can get our heads around just how big this trend is.
Yeah, I think one simple number is that the top grossing WeChat mini game making more than $1 million per day. I mean, the Bang Bang Survivor is the number one grossing.
No developer would mind that.
Yeah. So you just think about it. It's amazing. $1 million per day just on the WeChat minigame channel only, not include their app store. So I think the number is big enough to prove.
So what is it? Is it because they're snackable? Is that the main reason for that kind of an audience?
Yeah, because I think the WeChat minigame has been 10 years ago. It goes through a very long period of development. I think now it's reached its primal state because you think of the new app store inside your super app. You don't have to download their app like the traditional app store. You go to you watch the app, you then go to App Store, you decide whether or not to download the game or not. But for the mini game, you watch the app, you think it's funny, you click on it, and then it will leave you open the app. I think there is a frictionless experience that fuel the growth of their mini game. Yeah.
I mean that it is because of it being seamless, then you can be spontaneous.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the numbers. You were talking about $1 million a day. It's now worth $7 billion.
Yeah.
This is your numbers, by the way. 15% year-on-year growth, 500 million monthly players, 400,000 active developers. So quite a healthy ecosystem as well. How does that happen? I mean, is that the gold rush? Is that what's happening here in Asia and everybody's going to it? Is that the momentum, or is it simply because it's a great game?
Because I think it's based on player. Player prefer a very similar frictionless experience. Like I say before, like in the traditional app store ecosystem, there's a lot of friction. You watch an app, then you drive you to the app store. Maybe if your Wi-Fi is not ready, you need to download and wait for 3 or 5 minutes for you to play the game. So there's a lot of friction between the player, the desire to play, and they actually play. So, but we can remove the friction. I think that's very important. And also, 5 years ago, it's quite hard for a player to play a 3D game on their WeChat minigame platform. But the platform itself is evolving very fast. Now you can play Whiteout Survivor. It's a King Shot. It's already Supercell is ready to bring their title Clash Royale into the minigame ecosystem. I think that maybe next year you can play the Genshin Impact. I don't know, but I think it's happening very fast. But 5 years ago, only 2D, but now very high quality 3D game is playable in the WeChat mini game ecosystem. I think platform itself is evolving. Player habit is already formed because they're getting used to play this game. They can share with their friend in chat and they just tap open and let's play this together. It's very frictionless experience and so
very social.
Yeah, very social. Yeah.
More than it is really with the actual mobile gaming experience now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you, because you've built HyperJoy. I like that because everything in Vietnam sparks joy for me. It's something about the vibe here. And you consult with studios like Scopely, so that's impressive. You got a blog, which I'm going to be checking out. Lemon Game Talks has also become the go-to for devs. So you've got a front seat on this shift. It must be amazing for you. You're like, you're witnessing what's happening in the moment and able to tell us about it. So what is it that you find the most exciting or invigorating about watching this market, probably also shaping it with HyperJoy as well and consulting? So you are playing a role.
The boom happened in these 2 or 3 years. It's happening very fast. We see a very brilliant game like Legend of Mushroom. Actually, it's built on the WeChat mini game first, and then it go to the global market. So we see a lot of our WeChat native mini game go to the global market and have a great result. Bam Bam Survivor, Doodle Magic. There's a lot of iteration happening here. So it's very amazing to see this incredible team building an incredible product in the mini game market, but also they try to expand to the global market. I think it's an unstoppable chain. In the future, I believe there will be more and very hit game coming for the WeChat mini game or mini game in China to the global market. I think this is amazing to witness all this.
So what's going to happen for Europe, for West, to finally sort of get mini games? Is it going to be about making the games differently, or thinking about even the mechanics differently, or what is it that's going to help developers? Because you're talking to them. What do you tell them to help them get and understand not only just the opportunity, but what they're going to have to do to take advantage of it?
3 years ago, when I talked with someone in China about a mini game, they still don't get it. What is it? Is this like the hyper casual game in an app store or something like that? So it's quite hard for them to follow out with what's happening. But after these 2 years, most of their Chinese developer or publisher, I know what's mini game. They already get a sense about this is a new app store, but without downloads. So it's a huge opportunity. So when I talk with a Western about WeChat mini game, but because the mini, I think it's quite confusing because people think of it like a very small game, very casual game, like puzzle game. So I just open my WeChat, I load the Whiteout Survivor, I say, I can play this Whiteout Survivor without download. They say, oh, amazing, how do you do that? So they instantly get it. Oh, it's a new app store inside their WeChat or Douyin.
Well, it's a super app.
So
everything is there. And the audience is there because you do everything in WeChat. I mean, you can make payments, call for delivery, everything. Your life takes place in this app. So it makes sense that the games are also taking place there. So first you should understand what is mini game, because I think it's quite a lot of confusion about misunderstanding about the mini game ecosystem. I think the first step is to understand what's happening here in the WeChat mini game market. What's mini game actually? How big the scale is? So I think as long as you have the correct understanding, you made the correct choice, because I think a lot of Western product and Western game are already publishing in their WeChat mini game or Douyin. The Chinese TikTok mini game have a great result because they know what that is. Their local publisher tell them mini game is the only thing it's the only game in town, literally. You can master that. I mean, you're talking again. I'm going to take it from the European perspective because again, the audience and Pocket Gamer and all the developers, you call it, and I read this in your blog, you're calling it the mini game gold rush. So for everyone listening outside of China, we know what's driving this explosion, but what's about faster ROIs? It's just off the charts. What makes that happen? Is it just because of the games itself or somewhere in the ecosystem? Because it's not just that the games are popular, the developers are getting rich.
Definitely. I think it's our ecosystem, because like the ecosystem is ready and everyone is making money out of it. Like the monetization You got it covered because we don't use cash anymore in China. Most of us use their WeChat payment or Ali payment.
So payments built in.
Yeah, payment building. You can buy the item in the game, use WeChat payment, things like that. It's very convenient. So I think the payment is ready, and also there's a social phenomenon. Everyone try to climb to the best wagon, like, oh, you are doing the WeChat mini game, you're rich, so I will try to make this same game. So also there are a lot of teams in China because they are facing challenges in their traditional app store economy because the rising UA costs everywhere. In China, the same case, the UA costs double every year. You cannot solve their problem. So, but due to the frictionless experience of a mini game, the UA cost not that high compared to the traditional app store, so they think a very good ROI in terms of that. So they decide to invest more into this mini game, and yeah, I think it's a very positive cycle that people make money and the peer
and then they invested in there.
Yeah.
Because you said the investment in UA isn't as great because you do literally have a captured audience. Everyone's excited to be in WeChat.
Yeah.
They can pay in WeChat. You have monetization. This is a regional phenomenon, right? Mm-hmm. But it is, as you said, it's going to be going global. How's that how's also the global impact on mini games? How they're built, discovered, monetized. It's a little bit in both directions, isn't it?
It's not going to happen very soon in the West because they have a different ecosystem there. Because in China, we have the super app like WeChat. They take care of everything. We use it for social, we use it for payment, we use it for have fun and reading article, reading news, everything. This is one app and one language. We only have one language in China, so Chinese. So I think it's easy. You don't have to worry about a localization problem and payment system. But in the West, I think it's not a simple copy and paste. Here in Vietnam, I think the Zalo will have their similar development like the past, like in the WeChat. But in the West, I think the principle is the same. Player prefer frictionless experience. Yeah, that's cool because they don't need to go to the app store. Social, I think, very important. How can I share it's very hard for me to share my app to my friend. I have to share the link to their store. They have to download it and say, oh, what's your number? What's your... Yeah, there's a lot of steps. Yeah, a lot of friction here. But China in the... Yeah, just share it. You open and, okay, I can play together with you. It's a very frictionless experience. So I think the fundamental principle apply in everywhere. There's your player, does your user prefer a frictionless experience, instant gratification? I think it's it's that. Does your player want to play with your friend? How can I build a very ecosystem out of it? I think community, social element, everything. I think it's all you got to build a very healthy ecosystem. I think minigame got it covered.
For someone who says it's really China only, I mean, we have examples that that's not the case. We're looking at Supercell. I mean, we're looking at these top titles saying, that's the market where I want to be. But what are you telling companies who are on the fence about it? I mean, it isn't simple. It's not, perhaps, turn the question around, what types of companies from the West, other than the Supercells, can hope to enter that market or should even look to do it? Because again, putting on your consulting hat, that's where you would give them advice. But some people maybe should just pass.
Yeah. First, I think your game should have a proven metric in the Western market. Like, if you cannot scale the game in the Western, it's also very hard to scale it. It's not going to happen. So I think the best way is you already have a proven title with retention metric, and also the best case will be in a 3D game because like in 2D game, the Chinese guy are very smart and quite easy to come out with a clone. The competition is there because.
But also the user experience. I mean, 3D is hot.
Yeah. Like maybe idle arcade game, like some simulation game. I think it's a perfect fit for you too because we see already Idol Lumbo In is already in the Chinese version mini game store. It's great results. So Idol Arcade, 3D, and also if you're building for a niche audience, that's okay. I think that's good. That's an advantage because you have a less competition here. If you're building a very popular app, before you enter the Chinese market, I think most of the competitors there will make a copy out. So I think the best way to into this market is to make sure you already have a proven title and then find local, and then I can help you set you. I know a lot of brand.
I was going to say the entry strategy I was going to come to. So it's basically, put you on speed dial or text you or find you on WeChat.
Yeah, on LinkedIn.
But seriously. but they should do that, Lemon, of course. But seriously, some thoughts about, entering and, if you want to test this format, is there a smart entry strategy? Sort of, because you want to test the waters. If you're a company, as you said, with a proven game, good mechanics, solid retention, you're like, yes, I can do this. I can go to China. I can have a mini game. But in what steps? I mean, should you test it? How do you test it? Because you don't want to go all in.
I think the most efficient ways go with the UA creative first, because you can see how the player react to your UA creative. You don't need the full game to launch first. You can just test the water, putting your UA creative in the ecosystem to run some UA campaign, ask the publisher to help you. If the CTR or CPI is good enough, which means you do have an audience over there, and then you slowly integrate with everything. But I think the integration part is quite easy nowadays. It's quite easy to publish the game in the mini game compared to 2 years ago, because their policy should not be the problem. So I think the easiest way is to test your UA creative first on the market, and then see does their player have a good result, like their feedback. So I want to play this game. I think this is fun. So which means it has potential to thrive, and then you just work with the publisher and to build your game, to test the day 1 version or day 3 version, wherever you like. And then, so I think it's a step by step. First UA or an initial soft launch test, and then full launch. I think the same principle is applied everywhere.
It is about companies that have a proven game, a proven strategy, a proven success, a commercial success.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating now just chatting with you about the user experience in a mini game. And you get the feeling that, okay, there are mechanics that could be transferred out to Western companies. They could learn. Maybe they're not going to go right in, try, but they can sort of like prime their game to be WeChat minigame ready. Yeah. Because you have to get there in steps. It's great if you're a great large studio and you just have title and you're going to modify it. But are there some mechanics in the West should be thinking about now? Because if they build them in, that expansion later might be easier. And to top it off, these mechanics are also obviously really popular. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to learn and to adapt them as well.
Yeah. I think this is a great question. I have to say that most of the minigame player are new player. Minigame is the first game they ever play, because they haven't downloaded the game for the App Store. So this is only the first game they play on their phone. So minigame. So I think the design prophecy is that you have to build it for dummy. You have to build it for dummy, really. I mean, like
keep it simple. That's
like,
business strategy right
2 years
there.
ago, the most popular WeChat minigame is kind of like the loot box RPG. You just nobody adventure. You just tap open the box, get some loot, and then it's very simple. Just tap, and then the number goes out and out. Yeah. You don't have to think. Don't make your player think. So I think build it for dummy, make it more very accessible experience. Don't build very complex mechanic. But you can put a complex mechanic after the first user experience. But make sure the first 5 minutes is very easy to pick out, easy to understand. I think the design philosophy applies to everywhere, especially in the minigame, because most of them never played a game before. If you make it like a Candy Crush, I think it's still too complicated for them to play Candy Crush. Yeah. Okay. So just simply tap and see the result, and simply left or right, things like that. So make sure the UX is super simple, super easy to understand. If programming understand, I think it's fine. If not, just make it more simple and make it more accessible for the mass audience. I think because the WeChat media game is not just for very niche audience, it's for mass audience. So you have to make sure the gameplay is accessible, but also you need to come out with a very complicated economic design like the meta system. You have to, because that's where you build a long-term LTV. So I think this is very important.
Make it simple. Put your effort into the monetization mechanic that it evolves over time.
This is the best lesson we can learn for the WeChat media game.
What about, we talk about keeping it simple, but how much experimentation is there? Because there's always the urge that when everything is one way, then you have to go the other way. So now, what does it look like in mini games? The innovation, when everything is very simple, are they starting to get more complex?
Yeah, I started getting very complex because like the Band Survivor, it looks like tower defense game.
Yes.
Yeah, but actually they have a 4x mechanic after 2 months. So I think very complex in the long term because like even if a very simple game like nobody adventure just tap, but actually they have 20 features you need to understand. So there's a lot of spend there over there because that's the top players.
Bang Survivor that's one of the ones with again the million a day.
The million a day because the top player they spend millions RMB and maybe the top number 1 players spend more than $1 million on the game. Start with a very simple idea and then you build a very complex meta system out of that, and also you build a very social mechanic like the clan system, the 4x1, because the Chinese people like to compete with each other. So I think the innovation is more about the meta system and also how we bring this accessible gameplay with the meta system, complex meta system together and make it appealing to your audience. I think there's innovation we see here.
And the innovation, the playbook, it does travel.
Yeah,
it works in China.
It works
in the West.
Yeah.
What about the staying power? And you've said before, and I quote, that the best studios treat UA and re-engagement as one connected strategy. Now that is great because I'm in the process of writing a full funnel app playbook that looks at that. You need to connect everything and add your CRM. So it's UA, it's retargeting, it's CRM. I get it. That requires a lot of data, a lot of insights.
Yeah.
Working with partners, for example, you think about Google's ad tech or other analytics solutions to manage that in those ecosystems. How are developers using this? How are they understanding that this is the fuel? This is what powers the longer term retention. This is what has the staying power.
Yeah. I think staying power, the word is very important if you want to thrive in their current ecosystem, because you just cannot build a hit and then looking for the next one. And then you cannot just chase. I think Google have very great tools in terms of analytics and their app. It's just treat your game as a very full player journey. Not just I just designed a game, the UA department will take care about the UA creative. It's none of my business. No, in China we build UA in mind because like last word, you see the runner shooting, and then it's actually in the game on the onboarding. And so I think it's integrate our experience of the player. So pay attention to your app creative, the UA creative. The app quality is very important. You just cannot throw a fake ad or misleading ad. Like maybe
we had that already.
But they actually put a fake ad, make it real in their game. I think that's their evolution. But like maybe a few years ago, you still see the fake ad and then play a different game.
It was a different game.
Yeah, it's hurting their user experience. So app quality is very important, and also you make sure the app is the same part as your game. What they see is what they get, and also what they experience. Yeah, I think it's quite important. And you need to use their tool for A/B test a lot. Like I say, their top studio, they like to do a lot of A/B tests, not just their creative, but also their player journey. They have to cater their user experience based on different channel, different segment country. And one example is that different country player will see different flag in their base. In last word, I think it's a very small detail, but I think it's quite important to do this implementation. Like the female one, we see a different color in the male audience in their game. So I think it's quite important to do a lot of A/B tests, segmentation. That requires a lot of data and the analytics things to do. I think we should take advantage of what Google have. The tool is there. But the mindset is more important than the tool. You should have the mindset. This is important. But because I told you should do A/B tests, so what should I A/B test? I already A/B test my creative. What else can I do? I think. What about the product?
It's
ongoing.
It's ongoing. It never stops.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because here we are in Vietnam, and we were both at the event, and part of it, and talking with so many developers. And it's interesting that they said, we have a success. Now we're going to take a look at segmentations. It's that level of where we're at in the industry is to say, it's great to do the A/B testing for the creative.
Yeah.
Now we need to A/B test, does it work with a certain audience?
Yeah,
and think about those audiences. Also curious, about what's important for small teams, right? These are small teams that we're talking with and we're connecting with at this event. And you're a small team. It's interesting, also in the West, when I'm talking with indies, it's like, hey, we've got our game, we love our game, we know our game. But it's the business skills. It's the understanding of really the intricacies of data, for one, very much. Understanding that they need to connect in a loop. It's not a funnel. I mean, all of this business knowledge and savvy. What's it like here? I mean, is there the skills gap, or where is the skills gap? Where do you see it? In production, monetization, marketing, everything, all of the above, something else?
I mean, mainly in the UA side and the monetization side, because in China, we just, like most Western studios, they are very talented, they are very creative, I would say. They build very fun mechanic, but in China, the case may be different. They think in their monetization mindset first. They have to make sure they have a meta system in place and they build the gameplay on top of it. Just think of a Happy, they are very, all their game, their meta system quite similar, like their equipment, like their gacha. If you look through the template, it's like a template. They build different game on the same template, and now currently they are evolving their template to 2.0, like their we see in the Vito Defender. They have their score RPG now, so you never see the template in Survivor.io anymore because they decide to transition to the score RPG template. So in China, the developer, the mindset is quite different compared to the Western. The Western, they prefer to come out with something fun, something it's very easy to pick out, fun to play. But in China, they already think in their monetization first. I think there's a mental difference between how we design the game. So we already designed the game on top of the monetization system. We have to make sure that the system is in place. All I have to do is find the right mechanic.
Fun thing on top of it.
Put the fun on top of monetization. But I think the Chinese prefer monetization over their fun part a little bit, but in the West, I think it's the opposite. So I think monetization, but also UA. I met a lot of Western audience. Because they say my publisher will take care about the UA. I don't have to worry about it, and it's not the case. You have to think in the UA in the first place. You make sure the UA is your product. How does the creative reach out to your audience? How they experience the game after they download the game. So I think good product is a good UA. Think about last word. I think there's a good, perfect example about they not just using a fake ally shooting everywhere and the runner, the number game. They actually have that in the main game. I think it's quite fun to play through all the levels. Prioritize the monetization first because that's where you build a sustainable ecosystem or portfolio.
They're thinking LTV.
Don't just chase heat because they're very hot. It's very difficult to chase heat, but just make sure you have the system in place so you can build a very long sustainable business on top of it. I think there's
lessons for the West in that because it's not fun first. It's mechanics.
Fun is important.
Fun is important, but think monetization. Many in the West thought about monetization after the fun. I've seen it, I've heard it, and I've talked to those developers. Let's look again at the big picture. I mean, here we are in Vietnam. It is one of the top tier growth markets by far. That's why we're here. And Vietnam punching above its weight, projected to hit 1.6 billion of revenue. So it's getting it right. It has speed, it has collaboration, has the skill set. Obviously, developers who understand it because look at the Hall of Fame coming. I'm excited to see. How do you think it could become WeChat mini games? Could that become Vietnam's gateway to the China player base as well, or vice versa? I mean, could that be the entry point for these up-and-coming studios?
Yeah, definitely, because we already see some Vietnamese developers game already launched in the China's minigame market, also have great result. I think it's not gonna work because the ecosystem here, like the Zalo, is not ready. For now, I think more about the Vietnamese have a lot of super very fun casual game, hybrid casual game. They already have a proven metric. I think it's very easy for them to just find local Chinese publisher and help them to localize the game a little bit and to launch on the minigame market. But the other way around, I think it's not the same. Basically, we just go to the App Store now. But I think maybe in the near future, the ecosystem.
Could see a blockbuster from Vietnam and
for
WeChat.
Vietnam, like the Zalo mini game, maybe we see some more and more Chinese RPG game or very micro game will thrive in the Zalo mini game ecosystem. I believe in the near future it will happen.
Exactly that. We can see that movement. We can see that dynamic. Maybe Vietnam coming to China. Definitely West. Maybe thinking about bringing titles here or just adopting mechanics that their titles will be WeChat ready when the time comes. Now, you, of course, consult with major companies. So I'd like to stop with one piece of advice, your piece of advice to them. If you're saying, this is your bold prediction, what do they need to get right about the Chinese market?
I think most people underestimate the social part. I mean, the social is quite important. Because for most the Western player, they prefer to play the game by themselves. I think it's okay not to have a social, just as long as the game is fun enough. But in China, people like to compete. People like to show off. At least you should have a leaderboard to help them to compete with each other. So I think the most important thing is don't forget, if you want to make sure your game launch in the WeChat minigame or minigame market, make sure you have the social feature ready. It could be maybe a ranking, a clan system, PvP, GVG.
Social is so key.
Social is so key in China because Chinese players, they want to be the best in their friend. I think that's the key.
Recognition matters.
Recognition with the social status, I think it's quite important for them. Because every now and then I will get the share to me like, I'm the number one in this ranking. Can you beat me? Okay, I will try. I think challenging is very important. Make it a little bit challenging because these people love difficult. They try to chase difficulty and also make sure once they done that, you make sure they have the play to show off, to share in the group, to share with their friends.
It makes a statement.
Yeah.
So let's continue on the idea of a challenging, bold statement. Your prediction, I won't hold you to it, for 2026.
Maybe I made a prediction, similar to prediction maybe 3 years ago. I mean, the minigame will be the go-to place for most of the Chinese development. Most people don't believe that. So I'm going to say for next year, I believe there will be more, at least 10 games will be in the US top grossing 200. I mean, for the WeChat minigame, because we already see very excellent game spending 2 million per day on UA. On the minigame, they're coming maybe next year. They already proved their success in their WeChat minigame market, and they're ready to expand to the Western market, especially for the top grossing chart. We are expect to see at least more, maybe 10 new titles in the top grossing 200 in the US market. So most of them, I think, will come from a minigame.
We'll stay with games because Pocket Gamer loves games, and we ask every guest, and I won't make an exception to it, even though we're on location in Vietnam. We always ask our guests 2 closing questions. Your favorite game you're playing right now that you're obsessing about, you can't put down, and your favorite game of all time.
Okay.
This ought to be good. I'm ready, Lemon. Bring it on.
The first one, because our studio is focused on the tower defense game only, so currently I'm playing Bang Bang Survivor because Bang Bang is a top.
It is
the
top grossing
game because the mechanic. I have a lot of mechanic there. I think to keep player around because people play for years. I think we have a very. I'm in the community of player community of Bang Bang Survivor. People chat about a lot of not just about gaming but share their life. I think they have a very great thriving community because the game have a very complex design and also very long-term retention. Because Bang Bang Survivor is more successful than Whiteout Survivor in China. You need Whiteout Survivor is already very successful in the way. So Bang Bang Survivor, I think, is currently we have a lot to learn for this game in terms of game design, in terms of UA, because their UA creative is.
You are a fan.
Yeah. So Bang Bang Survivor #1 currently all time. I would say all time. Wow, that's a tricky question.
Yeah.
I would say Plants vs Zombie because it's classic tower defense.
Good choice.
I think it's a very
classic
game because I play maybe full week just into the game during college. I don't go to
it stays with you.
Yeah, so I think there's the first I will keep playing recently. Yeah, so I think Plant vs. Zombie, both are tower defense game.
Well, Lemon, it was my first time meeting you in person and making your acquaintance. But yes, you will stay for me the master of minigames. And I hope to continue the conversation. Until then, I hope you're right with your prediction. Very, very exciting times ahead.
Looking forward to that.
Thanks so much. This show is all about how to do your job better, how to make an amazing game, how to market it, and you have a say. So if you have a story or know someone we need to shine a light on, then we would love to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. We want to reflect the reality of the mobile games market in all its wonderful complexity and strangeness. So if you have any suggestions for us, if you have any feedback for us, you can always get in touch. You can email us at podcast@PocketGamer.biz. You can find us on Twitter @PGBiz, and you can reach out to us through the PocketGamer.biz website. If you're interested in listening to all of our podcasts, you can find them at PocketGamer.biz/podcast, and we would love to hear your thoughts on future shows.
And we've got you covered on all the major platforms, so subscribe to the audio podcast, as Brian said. Look for us on YouTube. If you want to read it, hey, you can do that too, because we have a companion post for you as well on the PocketGamer.biz website.
Tune in again for the next edition of the PocketGamer.biz podcast, and we look forward to speaking to you in the near future. Until then, I'm Brian Baglow.
I'm Peggy Anne Salz, and that's a wrap until next week.